Hello, fabulous superstar Aquarius. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of September 2018, looking at life and love. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an amazing month it is. We have an active sky and an important one. It will bring the beginning of the culmination of larger cycles, as well as the beginning of another larger cycle as part of this year of retrogrades. You add to this a new moon and a full moon. Well, it looks like there's a lot going on, but you're just getting started. So let's start with Venus, because right out of the gate, really right around the 3rd of the month, give or take a day on either side, depending on where you are on the planet, Venus will go into shadow. So this is a big deal because this is setting up the retrograde season, which is going to take us right into December. So the larger Venus retrograde season always asks us to ask ourselves, do I love it? This very important question asks you to look at specific people, places, things, and situations, and ask yourself and reflect deeply on whether there is love here for you or not. And where there isn't, it's just not going to work for you anymore. This is more a chance for you to be honest with yourself, to gather information that you will use as you move forward. Now, you add to this the fact that Mars this month will return to your sign as part of the beginning of wrapping up the Mars retrograde season. So Mars retrograde season has been going on since May. And it is now, as Mars re-enters your sign, that you are going to come into a new understanding of what these last few months have been meant to be for you. This is a powerful time of claiming your power. And it's interesting because these two planets, Venus and Mars, are considered cosmic lovers. So they have a way of complementing each other, much like the moon and the sun do in their own unique ways. So with Mars, it's very much about knowing yourself and acting from that place. With Venus, it's very much about knowing your heart and living true to it. So you are getting these valuable lessons on both fronts. On one, this idea of owning your power and owning your truth and taking action from that place. Well, this is an important part of the lessons of this year for you. You'll be engaged in those. But this is Venus being retrograde season, not in your sign. So it's a little bit different. It isn't so much about you and your identity and your claiming of personal self and acting from that place, but it's more about specific areas of life. Mainly the two areas of life that are going to be highlighted and you will start to experience this month have to do, on the one hand, with the most visionary part of yourself and the part of yourself that knows that you are meant to interact with others and interact with the world and share with the world in bigger ways. And also having to do with your career, having to do with your life purpose, and do you feel in love with the higher direction for your life, with the legacy that you are creating. These are going to be part of the larger lessons that are arising for you, that start to arise for you now. But of course, love is part of this picture as well. And the part about love that comes in for me is that I feel like this is really about welcoming new experiences in where it comes to love, and also thinking about the bigger picture in the context of love as well. Now, this is further reinforced by a new moon. We are going to have a new moon right around the 9th of the month, and this is right when Venus moves into the top of your sky. Now watch what's happening in the first 2 weeks of the month, because it is the first 2 weeks of this month that are going to give you really good insight into what this Venus retrograde season is going to be about for you. Not only at this new moon will Venus change signs, but will also reach out to Uranus and to Saturn, both of which are your ruling planets, which means it's not just about your career. It's not just about you knowing that you have more to give and you're going to share it in bigger ways, but it's also deeply personal and deeply meaningful. You are being changed by what is transpiring now. And in some way, with this new moon centered around rebirth and centered around intimacy, it is ultimately you being deeply honest with yourself and possibly with another person, particularly at this time, that is going to be part of what comes to define the coming months for you. So let's talk a little bit about this new moon. This new moon is happening in a part of the sky. As I said, it has to do with intimacy and being deeply vulnerable with another person. Now, this could play out if you are someone open to meeting someone new. Well, this can be a powerful time when you're introduced to people very different than you've known before. And it is this new moon at which you are going to start to consider and start to contemplate how deeply it is that you truly want to bond with another. When we have a new moon like this, energy like this, the superficial is just not going to cut it. And so if you feel like you're meeting new people, but you're just not feeling it, even if everything is right on paper, it's just not going to work. Now, if you are in an established bond, there's a deeper desire to know where it is and how it is that the two of you are sharing with each other in meaningful ways. Now, that can be emotional sharing, that can be sharing of resources. How embedded in each other's lives, how entwined do you feel with each other? And so this is going to begin a moment of honesty for you, but at the same time, I feel like there might be more questions than there are answers. With this particular new moon, it could be, on the one hand, it looks promising where it comes to the finances of your partner. At the same time, there may be some details there that they are overlooking. So why do I say that? Well, look, this new moon is speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto and speaking in harmony with Jupiter. So that to me has power and passion and purpose written all over it. That's an intense energy, but a very fortunate one. But it's also standing across the sky from Neptune, which tells me, there might be some mixed messages there, or some sense of not having all the details that you need or all the details worked out. If it is working out, this energy in your relationship, then this can be a time when you feel like you're promising or maybe over-promising things. And ultimately, it is going to be, as we get a little bit further into the month, and as we get to the full moon later in the month, that a greater sense of really saying what you need and really knowing how things are is going to start to set in. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But this new moon has other implications as well. There's a financial element to this. This can be a time when you are interacting with financial institutions and considering new possibilities in that realm. That Pluto and Jupiter tell me that there are blessings there for you, especially if you are aligning with some career path or some larger goal and your finances, or trying to tap into financial resources. This can be a time of a significant investment being made as well. Now, again, the details don't look so clear, so you just want to be a little bit mindful that you're not betting the bank or over-promising. But for all that, when there is such strong financial energy, it means that the money you need is there. And this can be a time when there's a large influx of money that finds you. This can also represent meaningful change. And again, it's in some way aligned with some higher ideals or higher goals you may have for your life. There's a transformation going on within you, and it reaches very deep within your soul. That's the Pluto speaking to this particular new moon. I feel like this is a very powerful time. There can be a power play, particularly if it is financially related or however it is that you define power. In some way, you have the ability now to knock it out the park, but just be mindful, okay? Because it looks like there might be a little bit of not paying attention to certain details that in the future you might have to look a little bit more closely at. As we move later into the month, that full moon, I told you I would talk about it. Well, it's all about conversation and communication. So you can see how that can work really well where it comes to love. This is going to allow you to be a little bit more honest with yourself about what you're willing to do, but also understanding where your responsibilities truly are. And it may ask you to be more mindful about how it is you're communicating and what it is that you are sharing. This particular full moon is standing across the sky from Mercury, so there is a lot of conversation going on at this time, and a need to consider different perspectives. At the same time, there is this connection with Mars in your sign, a harmonious connection. So it looks like you're really excited about the agreements that are being made. The conversations you're having at this time are filling you with inspiration and hope and motivation to move forward. And there is also a connection with Saturn at this time as well, which does suggest that you are mindful of the time and the responsibility and the obligation that you might be signing up for at this time. Now, ultimately, I really like that Saturn in there. Yes, it's not the easiest connection a planet can make to a full moon, but it does suggest that a part of you, given that this is your ancient ruling planet, there's a part of you that is deeply invested in being ethical and behaving with integrity. There is this part of you that is very aware of what it is that you're agreeing to, what it is you're taking on, what this contract actually entails. And regardless of what is being said or what it is that you are saying, there's a deeper understanding on your part as to the bigger picture and the larger aim of what is transpiring now, and that makes it that much more meaningful a time. What I love about this month for you, well, look, I love that Mars returning to your sign in the first part of the month. And this is going to be one of the last peak moments of that Mars retrograde season, as Mars will in the middle of the month reach out and speak with Uranus for a third and final time. You will be getting important epiphanies, and you will understand what these last few months have been meant to teach you about yourself and about your power. And this awareness is one that lifts you, and it actually helps you to be more honest with yourself as you accept that you are so much more powerful than you ever realized before. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week by logging on to astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com. Sign up to be one of my superstars. Superstars get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. And Venus special horoscopes are on my website. Will be connected to YouTube and all of that stuff. So to be on the lookout for that. Lots to look forward to there. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.